Our students, our community, our future. That's what the Interscholastic Athletic Facilities Capital Project is about. It's more than fields and track lanes. It's about creating opportunities for all students and a safe, secure, and welcoming space that brings families to Chester and strengthens our community pride.
Hello, my name is Zia. I'm in the 12th grade and I'm a part of the varsity track and field team. I have been since 8th grade spring season, and throughout my time on the track team we have been practicing on the parking lot, and we don't get actual practice time on a track where we can go around and time people. I also think that many of our track teammates would also benefit from a real facility, because the parking lot floor could be really hard on the feet, which is why a lot of people have shin splints and a lot of other injuries, because it's hard to practice on such a hard surface rather than a soft track that you could feel the bounce with the spikes and other materials that we don't have at our school.
Right now we are practicing on a parking lot, and depending on based on kids, I've had 60 kids out on the parking lot doing warm-ups, agility drills, and all kinds of different exercises, and then we move on to speed work. When you're on a track, you have measurements like 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters. You also have, little platforms where you have the 4x1 relays. We have to actually go out and put tape down. The parking lot is not an actual 100 meters. So if I have to measure out 100 meters, I have to measure all the way through the parking lot into the grass.
If we had a track, we'd be able to do distance. We'd be doing laps around, whilst on other lanes we have sprinters doing 100 meters or 400 meter repeats, but we don't have the space for that. We have to do, sprinters can be doing one thing on another area, whilst the distance are doing something else, and it just takes too much time overall, and sometimes we get interrupted multiple times actually throughout our practice, and I don't think that's beneficial to any of the track teammates.
Another large problem with having the track and field practice in the parking lot is that the jumpers have nowhere to practice. So usually they sometimes participate in runners workouts, maybe they do a little bit of work on their own, but they never are able to physically jump into a sand pit until a meet, which gives them a very, very large disadvantage and is also unsafe, because then they don't know the proper form, technique, or have any practice on the way how to do it.
I think we've done really good with what we have, because with just having a parking lot, a lot of us have succeeded to do many great things. We had people go off to nationals, people hit state meets as well. So I think that's great, but if we had a track, I think we'd be able to do even more.
This next level of competitiveness would come because we have the actual facilities. Having the tools that they need, I can't imagine what they would do. They would just excel.
This project will provide a single, secure location for physical education, community events, and outdoor student performances, benefiting every student, not just athletes.
In the past, it's been difficult for us to maintain that safety because of things like multiple points of entry, and we really don't know who's coming in, out of a facility. With this new proposition, we have we're setting it up for safety as well as for sports.
Having a new facility with stuff like a bathroom to be accessible to people is also just something that a lot of people might not think about, but it really is an issue. You kind of just have to use the bathroom before practice, and then if you do, it's this whole big thing. You either have to go all the way up the hill and get someone to unlock the bathroom for you, or you have to use one of the porta potties, which aren't even always there.
During water breaks, probably 2 to 3 minutes. They have to run the whole distance of the soccer field into the building, use the bathroom, and then by the time you get back out, you're already starting your next drill for football, so you're going to be late for that.
Teams traveling from far away. We have teams that travel over an hour to come to our facilities, and they don't have a place to literally go to the bathroom. They have to use a porta potty, or they have to go up to the town park bathroom, which has a stall and a stall and a urinal, which again is being used by anybody that's at that park. There's no way for them to use water. There's no way to fill water jugs when you run out of water. There's nowhere to store ice for extra ice. They don't have any of the amenities that you might have at other facilities. We don't really have a feasible, usable locker room. Most of the athletes bring their equipment home every day. They bring it on the bus, the school bus in the morning, their helmets and shoulder pads, and they bring it back and forth because they don't feel safe leaving their stuff there.
For lacrosse and for soccer, since they're both outdoor sports, you kind of just have to put your stuff outside, but then sometimes it starts raining, and I usually have my school bag and my sports bag, everything, and it would just like pour. All my folders would get wet, everything, and everyone's stuff would get wet, their phones, everything they have to keep.
It definitely does impact your mindset when you aren't provided common necessities that are given at other facilities.
So the challenge is, right, all of the studies that are comparing synthetic turf to natural grass fields are done at a professional level. So they're measuring the amount of injuries and the density of the field on a professionally maintained field. There is no public school that can maintain a field at the level of a professional organization.
Our students at the end of the day have to leave Chester Academy to go down to Maple Avenue. Some students will take a bus to get down there. Some students who drive on their own are going down on their own.
We have to practice at Maple Avenue along with the other teams like soccer. So it might be a little difficult because transportation can be hard. A lot of people don't drive, so that might be a big issue for people.
You know, competitive wise, the other teams beat us to our home fields most of the time. So it's a competitive advantage for the other team to be the first team there, and they're already warming up and they're ready, and we have to get off the bus for a home game and shift all of our equipment and carry stuff, and deciding who's carrying stuff and who doesn't have to carry things, it can be challenging.
Right now the Chester Commons is really far out, and the road is really hard to walk or bike home after the game. I know for our drumline tonight, we are not able to go play at the home game tonight because we don't have enough students that have rides back after the game, and I cannot let them walk home in the dark.
I know for lacrosse, since it's all the way at the Commons, which is pretty far from where I live, it's kind of all the way to one side of town. There was a bus that would bring the students from the school, but then they would have no ride home, and then the bus would always be late, so it was very difficult for them to get there. For soccer, I'm the goalie, so when I have to dive, I'd much rather dive on turf than on the ground, because when I dive on our field, my arm, I get all muddy, I get scrapes on my arms because there's little rocks in the dirt. And then also, just for lacrosse and soccer, when the ball is moving, it's predictable on turf. It's like a fair game. You can actually tell where the ball is going to go, whereas on our field, it can kind of just hit any spot and then bounce some random direction because it'll hit like a little rock or a bump in the mud.
We've heard many comments. I've heard many comments over the years of other teams disparaging our fields, questioning why we play there. The quality of the field, our field is very hard, especially when it doesn't rain.
When I've been tackled on grass, having all these people on top of me, and I fall in divots, fall in rocks. It's not a very forgiving landing. Late October, early November, it's hard surfaces to play on, but turf, it's really that soft material, turf all year round, so it's a lot more forgiving than grass to land on.
Right now, we have situations where we can't use a town field, whether it's been rained out or there's another organization using it, or the field has been beat up by all of the other organizations that use it that we can't play on it. And we've had to transfer really important games like our homecoming game last year to Goshen. It's definitely a challenge when you have to go to a rival stadium to play your game there, and we're hoping to correct that.
Now that we have drumline as an organized class, this would just be such a great addition to enhancing their experience and how much they can get done working together in a safe environment.
One of the reasons for us musically that this would be so important is because we have students that go on to college with scholarship to perform, and they perform at Pep Band at SUNY Albany and at other various, at Ithaca College, at other places. So they really get to have, this would help set up our musicians to have that collegiate experience. Drumline, our pep group has not had the chance to have a competitive experience, and I know that they have wanted to in the past. But this would just open up the area for them to have more of those opportunities, perhaps hosting something at home, perhaps bringing in other drumline groups that there's not one other school in the county that does that.
I know that I've had students in the past visit other schools for all-county bands and concerts, and they have seen other schools' fields, and they are so impressed, and they comment on it, and they say, oh, I wish we had that. Now is our chance we could have that. I think that all of the students, not just athletes, I'm talking musicians, other students that are just in different clubs, they would be proud, and we would match the other schools around us.
Having a facility upgrade to this extent would basically mean that we're on an even playing field with all the other programs that we compete against. O'Neill, Dover, Spackenkill, Highland, you can go down the list. All these other schools that are comparable in size to us have a facility like this. And for us to be able to possibly upgrade our facility to such an extent would mean we're on an even playing field with everybody else.
Having a track and a facility would boost the morale of the athletes. They need to feel that they have a home track and field meet.
We are currently the only school district in our section who does not have their own facilities. There was two of us, Fallsburg being the other one. Fallsburg has recently moved their football facilities onto school grounds. We are now the only school district that does not play on our own school grounds. We play at a town park that happens to have a field at it.
Our students would really love to be a part of a home space that's shared, where they really feel pride about their school and their community. And I know if they had an opportunity to have that home space where we can host our own games and really be inviting to the whole community and family and friends to come in, our participation would go up exponentially, and our students would really be honored and appreciative to have that space. I think community accessibility for use of the facilities would be really high. I am sure that we have many people in the community, including myself, and many people that I know that would love to come and use the facility on the weekend, or perhaps after work, or perhaps they can even create like a walking club, and they have the opportunity to collaborate with other people in their age or their like-mindedness to come in and use the facility. And that would really just make our school district stand out amongst other districts in the area.
Our students, our community, our future. It's been years in the making. The seed was planted in 2022 after an extensive audit of all of our athletic and practice facilities, followed by a 2-year feasibility study led by Lan Associates completed in May 2025. Now, we have the opportunity this December to bring that vision to life, a space our entire community can use, celebrate, and call home.